This is where I get frustrated.
Don't even open that can of worms.
Like horrifying.
Horrifying. Not allowed to cry or have emotions in your house?
Like, do you really need to know what Zemoglophical 8 is? Or
Oh, Jessica.
everyone has a favorite. Everyone does. All right, today we are going to talk about the importance of self-care, specifically for parents. And what's triggering this episode is I just got back from Canyon Ranch, which has, I think, like 4 locations. They're opening one up in Austin, Texas, so that's a little bit more convenient for the Southeast. And it's a wellness retreat. So you buy like a package or like depending on how many days you want to go. So like I did the mindful journey. And so like within that journey or experience, I stayed 6 nights. So that meant I get 4 core services like included, meaning like facial massage, acupuncture, mental health consultation, soul, like whatever the fuck the other shit is. And then you get 5 optional services that are also included, which can include like a chakra balancing massage, Hungarian scrub, outdoor adventure, which I did rock climbing naturally, which is like, we'll talk about that in a minute, like prescription for exercise, personalized nutrition consultation, whatever. Okay, so that was like plans. Yeah, so I went because I talked about the Evoke scan previously, and I was like, and then Rick was like, I'm going on a golf trip for a week in March, and I was like, okay, bye. Like, I'm going to Canyon Ranch.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know the backstory on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so I was like, why am I not like scheduling something for
Hell
myself?
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, anyways, and I was like, I'm going by myself because like I haven't dealt with, and I don't know that we've like gotten into this like significantly, and I'm not going to get into it significantly today, but I haven't, those of you who know me know that big trauma when my first pregnancy with twins, admitted at 20 weeks, stayed for 4, emergency cesarean, like 4 months NICU. I watched my daughter die. It was a fucking hot mess. And it was in the middle of COVID, so there was like no like support. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we had roads. So it was like I'm holding like dead daughter and being like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Feed the other one.
Yeah.
So Rick and I just like we didn't grieve together.
Yeah.
And we weren't able to grieve because we couldn't have like a grandparent come in.
Yeah.
Or even like a babysitter because it was fucking COVID.
Right.
Okay, so that I did the Evoke scan and it was like trauma all over the place. And then Rick said he's going on a golf trip. So I was like, fuck this, I'm leaving.
So proud of you for doing that.
Yeah. And like, I didn't know like what to search for. So I just like asked Hernandez actually. And she.
I was wondering how you found out about this.
She said this. And then Lauren, Gaiman.
Gaiman.
Yeah. God, sorry. She's my therapist. Can't even say her name.
We love her. She's great.
She is great. This was like the theme. Like both of them said this in like their 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think both of them were like, we haven't been, but like we've heard it has a good reputation.
Yeah.
So I Googled it. It's fucking expensive. Like full transparency.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking worth it.
Yeah.
All right. So you get there, they pick you up from the airport. So you don't have to like Uber, like they have like a sign.
Right.
And there was me and this nice, like, I don't know, I'm going to say like 60-year-old woman from LA actually. And the guy picked us up and we like drove to the ranch, and it's like 40 minutes from the airport in Tucson, Arizona, which I've never been.
Tucson.
Not Tucson. Because I called it Tucson. I did that with something else too. I can't say because it's, never mind.
Okay.
Anyway, so drove to the ranch. You get out, you check in, they take your bags to your room, and like, I don't like know. So in the South, it's like mild. It's green, quote unquote, like tropical plants down here. Like, very different terrain. I mean, it's dry, it's desert, it's succulent. Succulents, it's cacti.
Yes.
All over the place. Mountains. I don't know. It's like the air is crisp and like cleaner.
Yeah,
like noticeably cleaner.
100%.
And so you go to your room and like you have an app that you can like schedule all your stuff on. And so the ranch has a schedule So you pick all this shit, like in your whatever, your little plan. And then on top of that, they have like everything else is free that's on the ranch. So like if it's yoga, if it's like, I don't know, any of the other, like, let me see, I'll just like pick something. Like they have things you have to pay for, like pickleball clinic. Like I'm not fucking doing that.
No.
But like meditation height free, like writing in nature. Like some of this stuff was like a little too woo woo for me.
Yeah.
But like they have so much shit that is free, like so much yoga, stretch, Qigong, like I don't know what that is, but like it's free, okay?
Yeah.
And all the food is free, and it's all they use like a term for it, but it's pretty much like farm to table.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah.
The portions are small, so like your girl ordered like double. Oh my goodness. And like I definitely ordered like 2 servings of vanilla ice cream, and they were like, "Do you want one?" And they were like, "We have chocolate chip cookies." And I was like, "Okay, I'll have like an order." And she's like, "1 or 2?" And I was like, "I'll just have 1 order." And then they come and they're like the smallest.
It's
Well,
one
I'm like,
actual
that's,
cookie.
Yeah, that it's but it's 2.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, okay, now I know.
Yeah.
Get 2 orders next time. Anyways, so the food is like super fresh. The grounds are beautiful. You can just like walk. They have like fountains and like certain areas where you are allowed to talk on your phone. Like you can be on your phone, but like talking on your phone is frowned upon. Like unless you're in your room or specific areas. You could drink, but you had to either bring it with you or order it to your room. They have like a bar, but it was only open like Monday, Wednesday, Fridays or something. I did not drink just because that was kind of the purpose, was to like whatever.
Detox.
So, 1 second.
Recaffeinate.
Yep, recaffeinate. So at first my schedule looked a lot like yoga, spinning, like things that I was really familiar with. Massages, all of this shit, mental health consultations. And then as I got closer, I was like, no, like that is not the point of this. I've been in and out of therapy for 15 years, numero uno. I don't need to talk to a stranger.
Yeah.
When I've talked all of this trauma to death.
Yeah.
Not pun intended, but
Yeah.
And like spinning and yoga, and I can do that fucking anywhere.
Right.
What I can't do is climb a fucking mountain for the first time.
Right.
What I can't do is hike in elevations that my lungs aren't used to.
Yeah.
And like really push my body into things that I'm scared of. Like I have a fear of heights. Like I do not.
Oh.
Like we're driving up the mountain. Like I make Rick whenever we're going on the bridge. I make him drive on the inner.
Really?
Yeah. Because I don't like being on the outside.
Yeah.
Like it freaks me out.
Okay.
And like we're driving up the mountain and I'm like full leaning like all like they're like, "You excited?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm so excited." And like because I'm like, it's
a
scary.
drop off.
It's a fucking drop off.
Uh-huh.
And like it ain't like a pretty like woods East Coast mountain. It's like rocks, like sharp fucking rocks.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get up there, and then I did rock climbing naturally. I've never climbed a wall or whatever. I've never put a fucking harness in. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, this is going to be scary, but I'm going to do it. And so you get up there, they like attach ropes or whatever, and it was just me.
Yeah.
Like no one else wanted to apparently rock climb naturally. Okay. And we get down there and you have to put on these shoes that have like rubber at the toes.
Yeah.
Because they're like, this isn't like a man-made mountain. It's a side of a fucking mountain.
Right.
And there aren't like divots.
Right.
Like that fit your hand perfectly or your feet. And you're not even supposed to put your feet like in holes. It's like you have to toe it.
Yeah.
And anyway, so you get a helmet, you get a harness, and you get attached to the rope. And like you figure out where to place your body.
Yeah.
And then you have to, anyways. And so then there's Jade. Shout out Jade. She was one of the ODS guides, which is outdoor sports. She's great. She was on the other end of the rope, like
belaying.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Just like holding it,
or
whatever. Yeah. Okay. So I get like to my left is like rocks. There's nothing to see.
Mm-hmm.
To my right is fucking like. It's so hot. Like you see you're fucking high. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, I can't look right. And so I'm going up and I get probably halfway up and I just start fucking crying. And like, I relate it to if you've ever run a half marathon or a marathon, when you get to mile 11, your body is so fucking tired.
Yeah.
But you're like so proud of yourself. And you're like adrenaline and I don't know, like emotionality is like wild. Like you start crying like at mile 11. And that was the exact same thing that happened when I got halfway up that mountain. And like I was like shaking and I started crying about Parker and like I was fucking scared. I was like, I can't go anymore. And they were like, you're all right. And like I just stayed there like starfish. But then and like, listen, I could have easily just gone down. You know what I mean? Quit. And I was like, I'm not fucking quitting. And I didn't even need them to like talk me up because I was just like talking to myself internally. And so I kept scaling and then I got 3/4 of the way up. And then I looked right fucking stupidly. And then I started crying again. It was the whole thing. And they were like, you're all right. And then I got to the fucking top and she was like, turn around and smile. I was like, no. I was like, no. And then anyways, then I scaled down. So that was like the exact like medicine that oh my God, I may cry. Sorry. Like I needed.
Jessica.
I know.
Oh my God.
It was just like so like we just don't have like you can't do anything here. You know what I mean? Anyway, so like touching this sounds so fucking woo-woo.
No,
I'm telling you.
it.
Like being able to like not have your phone and like touch, like climb a fucking mountain.
Yeah.
And like just like not have any like distractions and like prove that you're overcoming a fear, you know, and like proving your strength. And like it's like symbolic to like how strong I had to be like during all the Parker stuff and like NICU and all of that stuff. And so anyway, so like after day 1, I was like, okay, clearly this is like super medicinal and cathartic. And so like I want to make sure that I'm outside every day.
Yeah.
And like not like taking a walk, you know, like on the grounds or like going on like I would have loved to go on a bird, whatever it's called, like
bird watching.
Yeah, like walk. I would have loved to do that, but I knew that like I needed to like get uncomfortable, you know? And like so the second day, it was like 60-mile-an-hour winds. Like it was pouring down rain. Like it doesn't fucking rain in Tucson. Like it was pouring down rain. We hiked and it was hailing. I mean, it was fucking.
Oh my God.
I know. I was like, why? Like this is crazy, but it was like fun. But you just see, it's just like the terrain is different. You like touch shit that you don't touch normally.
Yeah.
And like you're going. The last day I did a level 3 hike, which I probably shouldn't. I mean, I barely made it up there, but like you might as well. Like it was rock climbing.
Yeah,
like I didn't know that. I was like, oh, we should go up a lot. Like we got the first. Okay, so like the first trek, it was like Canyon Ranch. I think is already like 7,000 feet in elevation. Then you had to add, I think, like 1,200, and that was like the top. I'm like,
wow.
I don't know what any of that shit means. I'm like, yo, I'm below sea level. Yeah. So like, I don't know. And they were like, take your time. And the first little like part was paved, but it was inclined. And I was like, whew. And they're like, no, we haven't started. And I was like, oh.
This is the walk to the path.
Like, oh, all right. And like, I'm not kidding. I had to stop. There were points where like this is when we were almost to the top. We're like every 7 like climb steps, I had to like stop and breathe because it's like fucking the air is so different. So thin. Going down was fine. But you feel so accomplished, I guess. When you do something for your body that you normally don't do and you like push yourself, because I think people take their bodies for granted and think that they're not as strong as they are.
100%.
Like I haven't worked out. I mean, you know. Like, I used to like teach at Cycle Bar. I was a spin instructor, like whatever, ran half marathons. And like especially since Monroe was born, so like 2 years ago, like I haven't done anything.
Yeah.
And I could still do all of that shit, you know, which just goes to show that like your body is stronger and more resilient than you think it is.
Definitely.
Okay, so takeaways. Like acupuncture was a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I just started doing that. It's wild. Like first of all, it hurts. Like, I didn't know, like, it hurt. Like, have you had it before?
No.
Like,
I've always wanted to, but no, I've never done it.
Okay, the needles in Tucson were so small I didn't feel anything.
Okay.
Okay, you see that? It's not as bad anymore, but it's bruised. That's from one of the needles. I know. The needles here were bigger. Anyway, so acupuncture, like, it was like another weird, like, she left the room. I immediately started crying. And like, it wasn't, because I did research, and the research says like, oh yeah, you'll just start crying and not really know why.
Huh.
I know. And like mine was very,
you knew why.
I knew exactly why, and like memories and whatever. But then like, you're supposed to be able to like drift off, because you're like sitting there for like in the dark for like 30 minutes. And every time my body noticed that I was drifting off, a limb would like flinch and wake it back up. And that goes back to like that Evoke scan that was like, you're like, every breath you take is you're in fight or flight.
Yeah,
and
you're
so,
like hypervigilant.
Yeah. Anyway, so but I was more relaxed that time than when I was in Tucson. So anyways, I'm going to do it twice a week for a little bit.
Well, and like, okay, what does it make you feel like after? Like days after or whatever?
I cried a lot that night. Rick and I got in a little tiff.
Okay.
I didn't cry about that. But like, it was all, again, like very, like, I started crying and it was like about Parker.
Yeah.
So I guess it like broke, like,
so like cathartic?
It's cathartic, but it's like, even when I was in the room and I was crying about Parker, like I wouldn't let myself really cry.
Yeah.
And that night, I was letting myself really cry. Yeah. So I don't know, like, what the fuck
it's
it does.
It's like a release or something?
Yeah, but like like I couldn't do it on my own, like therapy.
Yeah.
Talking about it.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so I guess like I don't know.
It breaks down like your defenses or whatever.
I guess. Like I gotta learn more about this Eastern medicine shit. Anyway, so
fascinating.
I know. And so the Evoke neurologist was like, you need to read Body Keeps the Score. And like it's like kind of a tough read.
It's so dense.
Yeah.
It's a very intense read.
I think I got to like page 5. And I was like,
and you're like, oh my God, like, I can't.
Yeah. And then this like woo-woo guy at the ranch, who we also talked about guided trips, like shrimps.
Oh yeah, shrimps, yeah.
And he was like, I'm not telling you to do that, but and like if they had that, I would do a guided. So like a guided trip is, say that Savasana, what is it called?
Psilocybin.
Yeah, which is shrimps.
Yes.
Right. And like I think microdosing is like the cool. It's great. Yeah, microdosing is great, but
totally.
This is like full dose, 8 hours of you like tripping, but you're guided by
a therapist.
Yes. Anyways, and it's supposed to be like super healing.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so we talked about that, but he told me about this alternative to Body Keeps the Score, which is The Wisdom of Your Body. And it's by Hillary L. McBride. And I mean, she's a psychologist. Anyways, but it's a much easier read. I also have barely made a dent, but it's so much easier and it makes a lot of sense. And she uses her personal story, whatever. Like she suffered from like a significant eating disorder. Anyways, and so she goes into all that. But much easier read. So if someone told you to read Body Keeps the Score and it's like hard, try this one out.
Yeah.
So point being, got back and like you don't know. I thought I was fine before.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm all right. I'm tired, but like I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I got back and I was like, I was not.
You were not okay.
Fine. Like my head was attached to my body, but it was like I was going 1,000 miles an hour from the neck down.
Yeah.
And like neck up, it was just like chronic. It was just always trying to keep up. But I didn't. You don't know that you're so fucking burnt out until you leave and come back. And I was talking to you, Lauren. I was like, listen, because I owe Lauren rent. And I was like, like a significant amount of rent. And I was like, oh, you should, I'm going to write you a big check soon because whatever. And you should use that to go to the ranch. She was like, yeah, I got to buy an Evoke machine. And it's like, you do, but like you're putting work
it's
before
the priorities.
It's the priorities.
Yeah.
And like, then I was like, I'm holding your check.
My priorities are totally fucked.
Yeah. And like, but you don't know they're fucked.
No.
Because you don't have a...
Or I do, but I don't like do anything about it. But it's not a
priority. You're not like you don't notice or know the impact that the choices and all of that shit have on your body.
Yeah.
And like this is another thing that like Western culture is like separated. The mind and the body is like being two separate entities. Like I'm obviously not gonna like dog on therapy. I'm a fucking therapist. And it's like just because you like go to counseling and think you're like fixing your brain or whatever, like that's attached to your body. So whatever your body's doing is also attached to your brain.
Yep.
So like experiences and like taking a fucking beat and choosing to use rent money to go to Canyon Ranch is actually will be more beneficial for you as a mom partner. But like, and then you'll anyway. So it's to be determined. I'm gonna hold that check. Okay, so a couple of little stats. All right.
Oh, I love that you're doing the stats.
It's like not a real one. I
just
go. Like deep.
I'd like to sit back and listen.
Okay, so 60% of women and 57% of men with mental health issues are parents. And so like, and like the top three are anxiety, depression, and PTSD. And I want to dig more into the PTSD. I have a feeling that's going to be women and it's going to be about pregnancy and birth experience or about postpartum.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. But, you know, I think, and I'm not like disregarding everyone else in the world, but like parents need to go away.
Yeah.
For a week by yourself.
Yes.
Like not with a friend. Like I ate by myself and I brought all these books and shit to read. I didn't read. I didn't draw. I didn't do anything. I would just like walk and be like I didn't listen to music. Like I thought I was going to do all that. And I just like walked and talked to people, you know, whatever.
Which we never get to do.
That.
Parents never have that opportunity.
No. And like whether it's doctor's appointments, lunches, laundry, chores, work, bills, marriage, like parenting, like, you know, am I doing it right? Like, oh, my kid's grades, or like, oh God, heaven forbid there's like a delay or like a need that's on top of all that. And like parents parent when they're dealing with their own mental health issues at the same time.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a fucking tornado of shit that will explode or implode.
Yeah.
And it's just a ticking time bomb.
I know.
And if you don't practice and like, I'm not talking about going to do your nails twice a month or like exercising your way out of stress.
Yeah.
Like there is a difference between exercising and moving your body intentionally.
Yeah.
Like that was one of my goals for the New Year's to like I'm not trying to go like, I mean, I should lift weights, but like what's more important is for me to move my body with intention.
Yeah.
I got a bike because like I can't go climb a fucking mountain here, but I can like get on a bike and go like fuck with gears and like push my body in that way.
Yeah.
I can restart yoga, you know, and that's, I think moving your body with intention is a better form of self-care than like hitting the gym or like hitting the weights.
Oh, for sure.
And like, I think it's too hard for parents, like, to just do that. Like, just be like, okay. And just like, I'm going to get on a bike instead. Or I'm going to, like, you need a hard fucking reset, especially if you haven't had one at all, period.
Yeah.
Or you haven't had one in years because you have young kids.
Right.
And like, what's it called? You don't, again, you just like don't know how important it is until it becomes a was.
Right.
Until that experience becomes a was.
Right.
You come back and you're like, I'm going to live. And like, this is like day 5 of me being back. So like, let's see how long this lasts. But like the way I communicate, not with Mac, because we're still in a fight apparently.
Yeah.
But like with Rick, like my patience, my patience, like as it relates to like Rick. Okay. So Rick and I banter and it's cute and funny. And then like we get in a fight usually about it. But like, you know, I got back and it's like people need to figure their shit out in the way that they need to figure shit out.
Yeah.
Whether I agree or disagree with it.
Yeah.
And even if I'm right or wrong, like I don't need to interject. I don't need to put an opinion, a label. Like that is not my journey. It's not.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to stress about it, worry about it. What I am going to worry about is me and how my reactions influence me.
Yeah.
and like how am I bringing everything I learned or reflected on like into reality now that I'm back? It's a lot of action oriented things, and like breathing is something I believe in it, but like breathing is fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like, and the way you're supposed to breathe as it relates to like is it your sympathetic nervous system? How you're supposed to like slow it down?
Yeah.
And it does fucking work, because we got in a fight and all I wanted to do was like I was like, I just want to go have a glass of wine and rip a cig, and I didn't, and I got a little necklace. Have you heard of these little necklaces?
No.
I got one. I should have brought it. It looks like a little Coke, like that you do a line with, It's like a gold, and it's expensive, and I paid too much money, but I don't fucking care. And it's cute and chic. It's like a quarter of a straw, like a plastic straw.
Okay.
It's gold or silver, whichever you choose. And the diameter, I guess, is probably like this size or smaller. I don't even know whatever. Like a pen or a pencil. And like when you're feeling stressed or whatever, you breathe in through that thing at a certain speed, and then you hold it at the top and then blow out at a certain speed. Because the enclosure, enclosure is so small, you want to breathe out really fast so you can catch your breath. Well, you can, but the point is to slow it down so you can feel your body and like regulate. Right. Anyways, so like I'm incorporating that. Anyways, so point being, self-care, is go get a massage, go on a walk, whatever, and like micro. But there is something to be said about the importance of like a long bout of self-care. Yeah. And people are like, oh, it's so expensive. It is, but like think about if you get your nails done for every 2 weeks, you'll probably have enough to go somewhere like Canyon Ranch for 4 nights if you save up for like 6 months. Yeah. Like you have points, you have I don't know, like Rick has United points for traveling. Someone travels a lot, you probably have points. So like flights, I don't know, you're fucking worth it is the point. So that money is going to be spent somewhere else on something else that isn't going to be as impactful as this is. Right.
You could go to North Carolina and hike the Appalachian Trail.
Yes.
Which is free.
Like, correct.
Just pay to get
there. There are. And listen, I'm like not an outdoorsy. Like I don't like camping bugs. Okay. So like I'm not like the best resource for the free outdoor shit. I have people that are. But yeah, like go to North Carolina and go hike the what?
Appalachian Trail. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. Go to the beach. I don't know. And just like I think the key is by yourself. Yeah. Like it doesn't really matter where you go. I mean, I would say nature. Yes. Solo. Like just like tech distractions and like busy downtown. Like not places like that. Like don't go to like New York City by yourself. Yeah. Like I don't know that's like
go somewhere quiet in nature and where you can just like be silent for some period of time.
Yeah. And like read or whatever, do whatever your body and your mind are telling you that you need your cup filled with. I'm on a Canyon Ranch trip. So that's why I say that. But yeah, I know it's fucking expensive, but like go to the beach, go to the mountains, go camp.
To a forest. I mean,
don't get lost.
That's like whenever I like hit a certain point every year where I'm like, I need to go into a forest.
Yeah. But literally. Like, and if you know how to camp.
To, like, touch grass and like touch trees.
No, but seriously. Like it's, and maybe next time I'll do like a cheaper. I'll just go to a forest. We'll just go to a forest. Yeah. I just don't want to camp.
I know. Spiders. See, I love camping and I love hiking and I
like hiking now. That. I didn't want to hike. And they were like, I was like, I hate walking. And then they told me some really juicy scoop, which I'll tell you, well, you don't care about reality. Bravo juicy scoop about whatever, a person who was on the hike and then hooked up with somebody else. Oh. I know. Anyways, and I was like, oh. You get like tea on a hike, I'll go. And so that's what triggered me. And then I was like, oh, it's not just like walking.
Yeah, no.
It's like endurance. Yeah, it's intense. Anyways, but I'll research like other options. Also, this is before we go. What I also want to do is do I think it's like a 10-day. I did this when I was in 8th grade with my neighbor's family. It's like we went to the Salmon River in Idaho and we rafted. Like you raft camp or whatever. And so it was for like a week, and I want to do that for like 10 days. That I could do. Yeah, I think that would be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So that's like another thing that's in the back of my head. But anyways, okay. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Is the point.
Yep.
Okay.
Right on that.
Right on that. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Little Brain Campaign.
Please like, subscribe, and follow.
See you next time.